Welcome back to the Wrestling Dispatch, everyone. We've got a packed video today, including news on Bryan Danielson's in-ring future, Kevin Owens' contract status with WWE. We've also got the updated lineup for Bound for Glory. All that and more coming up now. So starting things off, we have a bit of an update on Bryan Danielson, and this is coming from Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer newsletter. So we know that leading into Wrestle Dream and his match against Jon Moxley on that show, Danielson was saying, whenever I lose the AEW World Championship, that's the end of my full-time career. However, many fans are hoping that Danielson will return to the ring, perhaps on a part-time basis, once all of his injuries are healed. Now, he's been saying a lot that he needs neck surgery, that after he loses the AEW World Championship, he would go and get neck surgery. But as it turns out, Danielson might not actually need to go under the knife. So this is what Dave Meltzer wrote from the Wrestling Observer newsletter. He wrote that the hope is that Danielson won't need surgery and can heal up strong enough with stem cell treatment therapy. But if not, he'll have to undergo surgery. If or when he can return to the ring depends on how well all of this goes. So basically, the update here is that Danielson, despite what he had been saying for the last few months, he might not actually need neck surgery. He might, but he's scheduled to get another MRI done soon to see if the damage that was there has worsened, and then they'll be able to determine if he needs surgery or if he can heal it with other methods. And then after that is when we will know a little bit more about if Bryan Danielson can ever return to the ring. There was another update in the Wrestling Observer newsletter this week concerning Kevin Owens. So now we know in 2021, Kevin Owens signed a 3-year deal with WWE that was said to be for some pretty good money at the time. Then in a Sports Illustrated interview he took part in May, he said that nothing has changed regarding his contract status, except for that there's less time left now. So it was believed then that Kevin Owens' contract would run up sometime this year, so sometime in the near future. Now, Owens continues to play a major role on WWE programming, so if he was about to hit the free agency market soon, that would be potentially kind of difficult for WWE. But, as Dave Meltzer is reporting in the Wrestling Observer newsletter, there is reason to believe that Owens has actually already re-signed with the company. So here's what Dave Meltzer wrote in the newsletter. He said, I do know that multiple people believe in wrestling have said dating back to Bash in Berlin that they believed he signed, but it's being kept quiet. But that's wrestling rumors that we haven't been able to directly confirm. Meltzer continued, those closest to the situation have not said anything about any of the different versions of the story out, and very clearly, whatever the story is, he wants it secretive for now. So perhaps WWE is going to do an angle or something similar where a key part of it is Owens is pending free agency. Perhaps the storyline is going to be that he leaves WWE, but according to Meltzer, there are definitely people in WWE who believe that Owens and the company have already come to terms on a new contract. On TNA Impact last night, they booked a few more matches for their big Bound for Glory pay-per-view, which takes place Saturday, October 26th. And it will take place in Detroit. So we now know that X Division champion Mike Bailey will defend that title against El Hijo del Vikingo. That is going to be a fantastic match. Some other matches for the show recently announced. The Knockouts Tag Team Champions Spitfire, that's Jody Threat and Danny Luna, they're going to defend the titles against Rosemary, who's going to be teaming up with NXT's Sleepy Zombie Wendy Chu. There will also be a Call Your Shot Gauntlet match, although no participants have been announced as of yet. And Josh Alexander versus Steve Macklin has also been added to the card. So let's take a look at the complete lineup here. It will be TNA World Champion Nick Nemeth defending against Joe Hendry, and Frankie Kazarian is going to be the special referee of that match. The Knockouts champion Jordan Grace defends against Masha Slamovich. It will be Full Metal Mayhem for the TNA Tag Team Championships, as ABC, that's Ace Austin and Chris Bay, will defend against the Hardy Boys and the System. So that's a triple threat Full Metal Mayhem match for the tag team titles. A Monsters Ball match for the TNA Digital Media and International Wrestling Championships. We'll see PCO defend both those belts against Matt Cardona. And then those matches that we just said, in addition to Moose versus Mike Santana. And that is your lineup for Bound for Glory coming up in about 8 days. And another thing coming out of the Observer this week is that WWE has booked the 2300 Arena in Philadelphia. That's the ECW Arena. And while not confirmed, it's believed the show will take place on November 6th. And speaking of famous ECW arenas, Game Changer Wrestling has booked their second show out of the Hammerstein Ballroom. And so this is a follow-up to a show they did in 2022. Now that show sold out. I think there was a lot of excitement for that show and sort of a feeling that GCW could take the next step by doing a show in a venue that is so famous for creating such a fun atmosphere. Of course, the ECW One Night Stands were there. Many other ECW shows. Ring of Honor used to run Hammerstein all the time. So GCW is taking another stab at it. And they did get a little bit of criticism for their last show. There was some feeling, well, what happened on their last show is they ran out of time. So the last few matches were all super rushed. And it had the Briscoes in the main event. Unfortunately, the main event could only go about 6 minutes because they had a hard out on pay-per-view. GCW, not really used to that kind of setup, weren't able to time it properly. However, I mean, it should be noted that ECW ran into the same problem with their first pay-per-view, as well as All In, the first All In that was run by the Elite and sort of helped by Ring of Honor. That also had a timing problem. But anyway, GCW going back to the Hammerstein Ballroom. That's happening on January 19th. And it will be called The People versus GC Dub. An article in Bloomberg announced that WWE is set to debut a new behind-the-scenes documentary series on Netflix. That's basically all we know. It's going to be a documentary. It's going to take place behind the scenes. And Nick Khan officially announced this at the University of Southern California Next Level Sports Conference in Inglewood, California. And Bloomberg was the first to report it. So, and political reporter Alex Eisenstadt is reporting that former United States President Donald Trump is going to be on the Undertaker's 6 Feet Under with Mark Calloway podcast. So that's happening. CM Punk has been cast in a horror movie. He's done horror movies before. He was in The Girl on the 13th Floor, and now he's been cast in Ryan Prowse horror thriller Night Patrol, and it's apparently he's in a key role. So good on CM Punk. All right, just before we call it quits for this video, let's go and see what is going on SmackDown tonight. All right, tonight's SmackDown on Friday, October 18th from the Colonial Life Arena in Columbia, South Carolina. Here is what is booked for the show. So I don't know if this is a segment that they're advertising or not, but will Roman Reigns and Jimmy Uso receive help in battle with Bloodline? So that's it. That's the segment for tonight. Will they receive the help they need in their ongoing conflict with the Bloodline? All right. And also, Cody Rhodes addresses his Crown Jewel Championship match against Gunther. So he's going to address it. That's booked for tonight. Also, we know Los Garzas, Angel and Berto. They're going to be wrestling in tag team action tonight. We don't know who they're facing, but we do know that vignettes on WWE programming have been teasing the debut of possibly a tag team. We've seen vignettes that have cars and maybe images of Detroit. I don't know. I think some people have an idea of who might be debuting tonight, but we're not going to give anything away. So that's going to do it for this video, everyone. Make sure that you've clicked the like button, the subscribe button, and the notifications bell, and we'll see you again next video.